Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timmy Kemza James. For our new and old subscribers, you're all welcome to today's tutorial where I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a corset with bra cups, right? So do ensure to watch till the end of this video, guys. So it's going to be a peplum top with an illusion neck, right? So guys, I have my basic bodies here, right? This is my front basic bodies and this is the back basic bodies, right? So if you don't know how to draft your basic bodies, right, I have a tutorial where I taught on how to draft a basic bodies pattern. So I'm going to be linking it up and also in the description box, so you can go ahead and watch that video, right? So the first thing we are going to do, let me label my pattern so that you understand. This is our chest line, so I'm going to label it CL, which is also the armhole line. And then this is our bust point, so I'll label here B, bust line, then the under bust line and the affluence line, right? So this line is just a starting point, and here as well I just marked it as a starting point. So this is the half scale bodies, right? So I've gone ahead to label my panels, right? So what you want to do is, as you can see, I'm going to be using this bust cup to sandwich in my cup to give me that structure around the bust side. So I'm just going to like place it from my under bust like so that I can see the definition that I need, right? So by the time I place it, now your neckline depends on this, how you want it. So you just put this so that you can see what your neckline will be like, right? So you can see the neckline can be like this. If you want more coverage on the side, you will move it like so that you will know how the behavior of this side will be, right? So you can see this is what I have, but this is not what I'm going to be using. So guys, on this point on my bust line, I'm going to mark half of my bust span measurement. That's the distance from one nipple to another nipple. I'm going to be marking it here, and likewise on the affluence point I'll be marking it here as well. Then I'm going to be connecting that into a straight line, right? So I'll just go ahead and mark the points like so, right? So from our under bust now, I'm going to go ahead and take in my dart according to how much dart I want. So I want a total of 1 inch. So I'm going to do, because the client is not that busty, so I'm going to do 1/2 inch on both sides. So I'll do 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, and on the affluence as well I'll do 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, right? So on these bodies that I did, I already paid back my dart, right, on the body, because I didn't want a lot of lines. It will get you confused. That was why I did that before time. So I'm going to connect that 1/2 inch point like so, and I'll connect this side as well. Then I'm going to be connecting to my bust point like so, and connect to the other side of the bust point like so. So we have our standard dart now. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to tighten my under bust, right? So on my under bust measurement, I'm going to take my under bust measurement, divide by 4, right? So by the time I do that, I have 6.7, right? 6.75. So I'm going to mark 6.75 here. Then I'll take the measurement. I have 1.5 inch difference. So with this 1.5 inch difference, I'm going to spread it on the under bust dart leg. That's from here and here. So this center part carries the lower number. So I'm going to be marking 0.5 inch on this center front. Then I'll mark 1 inch on the side fronts, right? So you can see by the time I mark here and here, then I'm going to be connecting the point using my French curve. Actually it's my pattern master, but you can use French curve to the bust point. I'll be connecting to the bust point. So at this point, it's just like marking your standard your regular blouse, right? So I'm going to connect this point as well. Then I'll be connecting this point to this area here. So I'll go ahead and connect like so. So this becomes our new dart, right? So now I'm going to be extending this dart to my shoulder so that I don't need to do it to the shoulder point, right? So let's not even extend it so that I don't get you confused, right? So now we are going to outline our cup area. So on the bust line, you're going to come up by, let's say, 1 inch or 1.5. We are marking the gore now. This coming out that I'm doing is the gore. So if you want it revealing, if you want your corset to be revealing, your gore should be 1 inch. But if you don't want it revealing, you can come up by 1.5 or 2 inches, depending on how much coverage you want on your corsets, right? So I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. You can do 1 inch, but just bear in mind that by the time you open this point, your gore point, if you did 1/2 inch here, don't forget that you're going to open this and it's going to be a total of 1 inch if you did 1/2 inch. If you did 2 inches here, when you open it is 4 inches. So I do not recommend, nobody's chest is that wide, like the distance from one side of your bust to the other on the upper side of your bust should not be up to 4 inches. It doesn't look flattery. The highest I would recommend you going is 2.5. You can at most do 3. So by doing 3, it means from here you go in 1.5, which I do not recommend as well, right? And it should be a client with a small bust. But if you do have a fuller bust, just stick to 1/2 inch so that by the time you open it, it will be 1 inch, right? So from this gore, you want to make a curve that starts from here to the gore to give you your bust curve. Normally on a corset, what you would hear people do is for you to measure the distance from your under bust to your bust point, right? So the one I have here is 3.5. So on that 3.5, I'm going to mark 3.5 from the bust point towards this side as well. Then I'll mark it like so. Then I'm going to mark that 3.5 on the upper side. What you want to do is go round with the 3.5 inches measurements, right? So I'm going 3.5 on the side as well, then 3.5 to this side from the bust point. You just want to keep on marking 3.5 until you get a rounded shape, right? But I don't need to do that because you're eventually not going to be using all the points of the 3.5, right? So from this gore area now, I'm going to shape this side like so, using dotted lines to meet this 3.5. Then likewise shape from here, right, to come and meet this side here. So make sure you go in a little before you start curving, right? You can also use your breast cup, right, to just make a shape like so. But it's usually not what I want whenever I use this. That's why I prefer drafting by hand, right? So I'm going to be marking my 3.5 like this on this side, right? So at least from here I can now draft to this point like so. So what you want to do is to just trace it off. So you come up to somewhere around here, this your shoulder line here. You just come to that point like so, right? Then from this side you also trace like so. Ignore the noise on the background, guys. So this is what we have now. Don't worry about the shape, how it does not look like the regular shape, right? Don't worry about that. So we have our next 3.5 on this side, right? So what you want to do is to just bring this up from here, to just bring it up to that 3.5 using dotted lines as well, or you can go lower if you don't mind it being revealing. So with this, you know you're getting full coverage, right? So you just want to shape it. The thing with corset is just shaping it up to the point you want. The shape you want is what you're just going to be giving it. So you just shape it like so to this point. So this is what I have here, right? So now I am going to take in my dart for this side. So I'm going to extend this line, right? I will extend the middle line, that's my nipple to nipple measurement, up to this point. Then I'm going to take a dart. You can start the dart from the shoulder line, but I'm taking the dart from here. So I'm going to do the dart 0.7 on both sides, then 0.75, sorry, 0.75 on both sides, right? So I'll be connecting that to my bust point. So guys, this is what our cups will look like, right? So at this point, we're done with the cup side and the front side of the blouse, right? So I'm not going to be throwing away this upper side of the bodice, because I want an illusion neckline attached to my corset, because I'm going to be adding a sleeve, and it's going to be a peplum corset, right? So that's why I'm even stopping on the affluence, because the lower side is going to be carrying a peplum, right? So for the illusion neck, what I'm going to be doing now is to mark from this side of my shoulder. I'm going to mark 3 inches downwards. So it's going to be a drop shoulder situation around here, and then the sleeve is going to be attached from the drop shoulder on the illusion neck, right? So I have 3 inches. So I'll measure from this, my starting point, to here. What I have here is what I'm going to come further and mark it as well, so that I can draw that into a straight line, right? So from here, I will mark 3 inches on that line, right? So I'll mark 3 inches like so. The 3 inches is going to be part of the sleeve, but it's actually a drop neckline. So I'm going to come in with my French curve. This smaller side will give me a better curve. So from here, I'll connect it to the 3 inches point here. So you know, sort of like a cap sleeve, but it's not going to be a separate sleeve. It's going to be a drop shoulder. So I'm going to connect that 3 inches to this my shoulder point like so. So this is what I have. Then the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and make my armhole curve like so. From this point, I'll make my armhole curve. Then I'm going to connect here to the armhole curve, right, in a subtle manner, right? So I'll just go ahead and connect it like so. So the sleeve will come from this side till whatever kind of sleeve that I want to have, right? So which means my corset is coming in to be like this. Do you get? So now the next thing we are going to be doing on this pattern is to label our patterns, right? So this side is the center, the cup side, the center cup side. So I'm going to write center cup, which I'll be labeling here 1. Then this is the side cup. I'm going to label side cup SC, which will be 2. Then here is going to be center front, so I'll label center front, which will be the 3rd panel, 3. Then on this side is going to be center side front, right, which will be 4. Then this part of it, this the illusion part, is going to be center upper front, right? Center upper front, which will be the 5th pattern, right? So I'm going to be drawing in my green line, right, which will help me to know the directions to which my cups and my patterns are facing, right? So I'm going to mark my directions like so you can see. By so doing, I will not be confused when I come to join everything. So it's going to be easy. It's very easy to make, guys. I'm going to be joining this side to this side like so, then I'll join this side to this side. Now there's something you need to do on this cup side, right? So I'm going to be measuring from here to here to know if I have the same thing from here to here, because you really don't want any difference around there. So I'm going to be measuring it like so to this point. So I have 7 inches. So I'm going to measure this side as well to ensure that I have 7 inches as well, right? So it's okay, which means by the time I join them, it's going to align, right? So I'll measure this side as well. It's okay. So my front side is done, right? So this side is going, this center front side is going to be fold, cut on fold. So I'm going to be writing on fold here, just here. And then as for this side, right, it's not going to, I can decide to make it on fold or open it. So that's totally my choice. So I'm going to move it now to work on my back. So for the back is quite simple, right? So around here, I'm going to go ahead and make my shoulder, my armhole curve. I'll just go ahead and draw my armhole curve first off. Then I'm going to draft, I'm going to be marking on my shoulder line. I'm going to be marking, now listen, on my armhole line, sorry, for the front we marked the bust span on the bust point measurement, but for the back I'm going to mark it on the armhole line. Now the reason is because I want the back dart to be longer than that of the front normally, because it helps your clothes to fit, it helps your garment fit better, right, if your back darts are longer. So I'm going to be connecting this line like so that I can go ahead and mark my dart. So for the dart, I'm marking 1/2 inch on both sides. I have as well gone ahead to pay for my dart even before I drafted the dart, right? So don't worry about saying I did not pay back my dart. And so I'm going to go ahead and connect like so. So I have my lines like this. So for the illusion side of the back, I'm just going to draft a neckline from here, because you know this front side is going to be meeting this side of the back. So I'm just going to draft like a subtle V neckline on the back like so up to here. Then I'll go ahead and follow it with my pattern master. So this is it for the back. So for the back is quite simple. I'm not going to be doing anything further for the back, right? So I'm just going to be cutting out my dart and my separate panels. So now I'm going to be doing the same drop shoulder situation on the back, right? So I'm going to be marking 3 inches from this point. I'm marking 3 inches here. Then I'm going to be extending that 3-inch line by 3. So I'm going to be drawing that in a straight line. Then I'll mark 3 inches. That's the extension I'm going to be doing. Then I'm going to be connecting from here to that point using my curve, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and connect like so. Then I'll gently connect to the point where my armhole connects like so, right? So I'm going to go ahead and label my patterns. So this side will be the center back 1. Mind you, I've not added any zip allowance. That's because I'm going to be using a lace on the back of the corset, right? So if you like, you can even subtract from here, go in by maybe 1 inch or ½ inch or 2 inches, depending on how open you want, how you want the lacing side to be, right? So I'm going to mark this side as well, side back 2. Then this upper side is going to be upper back, which will be 3. Then finally, right, so that we'll have a nice and snug fit around the waist side and there won't be any gaping, right, I'm going to mark ½ inch from here upwards here, right, from this affluence point. Then I'm going to connect it like so, right? So this is it about our front and our back panels. I hope you understand this. So I'm going to have a video where I'm going to be showing you how I joined this entire corset together. Video where I'm going to be showing you how I joined this entire corset together and added the peplum and everything. So in another video, I'll show you how to cut the peplum to add on this corset, and then in the final video, so which means this video is going to be divided into 3 parts. In the final video, I will show you how I joined the corset entirely, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and cut out my patterns for you to see. So guys, here are all our patterns, our panels, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and add ½ inch sewing allowance all round everywhere on the pattern. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel. See you in my next video, guys. Bye.